Hi there, friends. I'm Alert Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Thanks for tuning in to our stream tonight. And if you do have any questions or concerns, try to chime in on our Facebook stream. I'll be monitoring some of the comments here if you have any of those here. So let's get into our discussion. And first, let's talk about where we have the developing rain, freezing rain, all this bad stuff on this Saturday evening. Great to see you tonight. And we have a developing ice storm. Okay, we have a developing ice storm that is really going to be affecting the Northwoods here during the overnight hours and tomorrow. There's still going to be a little bit of light icing down towards the Fox Valley. Really thinking the worst case scenario is going to be north and west of the Interstate 41 corridor. So this is First Alert Viper Max. I'm going to pop this up full screen, and then I'm going to go over to the radar and move things around just a little bit. So we are finally beginning to see some of this moisture expand across northeastern Wisconsin. The pink is where we would have that freezing rain developing, and the darker the pink, the heavier the precipitation and the greater amounts of ice that you may have accumulate. And there's a little bit of cold rain in the Fox Valley. We're still just above freezing in a good chunk of the Fox Valley. But there still could be some elevated surfaces like trees trying to get on, and a little bit of icing here. We've had some reports with some of that farther southeast. But just keep in mind areas west and north of the I-41 corridor, the bullseye of where the nastiest conditions will be. And the bullseye of the bullseye will be up here probably northwest of Shawano. We're thinking in this general area. Well, let me clear that out. And I would say this general area is likely where the worst and most significant icing is going to occur. That would be northwest of Shawano, Antigo, Lakewood, these areas where there could be 1/4 of an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch of additional icing later on tonight and tomorrow. And then areas to the southeast of that, we would still expect some icing really in this general zone. North and west of this line, we're so close in Green Bay and Appleton, it's just going to be a very close call. And it's just a factor of 1 or 2 degrees that will determine if we have a cold rain or freezing rain or sleet. So we are teetering in the Fox Valley, definitely looking at a cold or a freezing rain event back to the northwest. Let me expand this out and show you the regional radar here. This will continue to fill in as we go throughout the overnight hours into tomorrow. Also, notice the thunder and lightning back here southwest of Minneapolis. Remember last night we had a dynamic system move through that produced hail, freezing rain, lightning, torrential downpours. We could have some thunder and lightning around here tonight, tomorrow morning. All right, Drew asking how much snow. For you in Oshkosh, I wouldn't be too concerned about any wintry weather tonight or tomorrow. For most of the day, we will have a coating of snow area-wide to 1 inch or 2, a coating to 1 inch or 2 area-wide at some point tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. All right, so this is all going to end up as snow, but in the near term tonight and tomorrow, it is going to be primarily either a cold rain in the southeast or freezing rain and or sleet back to the northwest. Okay, so that is what we have currently. I do want to bring your attention to power outages, and right now we are beginning to see some flare up across the area. Not too bad. This is Menominee County, Michigan, 700 customers reported without power up there already, and this is not a complete list. There could be some other outages out there we just don't know that have yet to be reported. But this map that you see here is likely going to be lit up like a Christmas tree, sadly, by this time tomorrow with all of the icing and the breezes that we'll have that could lead some power lines to come on down, the trees to come on down. So please make sure your devices are charged before you go to bed tonight. If you live north and west, make sure your devices are charged and ready to get you through if you do happen to lose power. And travel could be quite treacherous here later on tonight and tomorrow. Okay, speaking of travel, let's talk about the road conditions, and primarily Green Bay south and east were okay. You get back to the northwest, and this is where we are now beginning to see signs of some problems developing on the highways here. And we are looking at this area, north and west, to really start to become worse and worse as far as travel goes here. So just expect conditions to fall apart as the evening and the overnight continue. Right now, these are the current temperatures. All right, let me pop myself back up here. These are the current numbers. So this is why just a few degrees makes a bit of a difference. And I will tell you here that this is the surface observations right now. These are the surface numbers. That's proper grammar. These are the surface observations, currently the current temperatures. And notice how we are at 34 at the Green Bay Airport, Appleton, Oshkosh 33, Fond du Lac 34, above freezing along the lakeshore. We still aren't getting our Sturgeon Bay observation here at the airport. I will tell you up here in northern Door County, it's around 30, 31 degrees. And up here north of Green Bay, Oconto is 31, Marinette 31, Lakewood 31. So just below freezing here at the surface, but above the surface, we just got our evening weather balloon sounding from the Green Bay Weather Service office at about 3,600 feet above ground level right now. In Green Bay, it's 46 degrees. So this is a classic freezing rain event. We have snowflakes way up in the atmosphere, melting in that 46-degree air, and then falling back down to the ground as in the form of cold rain here, where it's still above freezing. But back to the northwest, we are below freezing, and this is why we are most concerned here tonight. So that is the current state of affairs. These are the rainfall totals just since midnight, or total moisture. Really over the last 24 hours, we had a couple of stripes in northeastern Wisconsin where we had 1 to 2+ inches of total liquid, and we may have some additional totals between now and tomorrow night between 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. So this has been a pretty beefy and wet system here. And it will continue to add on up. Some of you, especially across the south last night, didn't really have a lot of moisture. You're not going to have a lot of winter weather tonight. So south and east of Green Bay, not too concerned about wintry weather here. But north and west, we are. So this is the setup. Imagine this area here to the left. This is Green Bay. And then we get up towards Shawano and the Northwoods. We're getting more of this freezing rain, and it can mix with a little bit of sleet. So we've got this warm wedge coming on in, and that is not really what you want to have. We would like to have either all snow or all rain. This and I would even take sleet at this point. But right now, the warm air layer is pretty beefy, pretty thick. It is melting snowflakes, producing a lot of rain, and if that rain falls into sub-freezing air, it's going to freeze on contact, and sometimes even if the airport observation is a little bit above freezing, like in Green Bay right now, 34, some elevated objects above it, trees, could also have some icing, even if the airport is reporting 34. So if you are driving tonight, tomorrow, north and west, just be extra careful here. Mel asking, is Shauna going to get hit hard? Well, you are in the ice storm warning, and you could have 1/4 inch of ice, if not more. Especially more back to the northwest of Shawano. So these are a couple of viewer pictures that came on in. And if you do have some, this is some frosted tree, a landscape here, and also some icing on a pine tree earlier today. John, watching from Fort Myers, Florida. Well, you're getting a little taste of old man winter down in Florida here. So we are getting a little bit of icing around. This will gradually get worse and worse, we think, over time. So as of right now, this is what we have as far as the official advisories to the north and west in the pink. That is the ice storm warning. And this really encompasses most of areas west and northwest of Green Bay. We have a winter weather advisory for Waushara, Outagamie, Brown, and Door counties, where there could be a little bit of light icing or mixed precipitation. We're getting that now. But as far as significant impacts, where you would have ice storm warning criteria, that is likely going to be back to the northwest. But really, just use extra caution here tonight. And tomorrow, of course, when in doubt, question, is that pavement wet? Just especially on some elevated bridges and whatnot in this blue area, just be extra careful. Just assume it's slick until proven otherwise, because the temperatures are so close to critical here right now. All right. getting a report of some thin layer of ice in the Freedom area. Okay, thank you so much. And I just want to let you know that the worst of the weather is going to be north and west. Again, widespread freezing rain, dangerous travel. If you don't have to travel tonight or tomorrow, you probably just should ride this one out. We are going to have some snow tomorrow night on the back side of this. And, you know, I would actually take some snow to give us some traction because it's really dicey to drive on ice. You just don't encourage anything to go on ice. It's just not going to be good sense. But we need some traction. So if we do get a coating to a couple of inches of snow, that could help things out a little bit tomorrow night. But then underneath it, we would have this ice. And we're not going to get back really above freezing area wide until the sun comes out Monday. By midday and into the early afternoon, things will be improved. But right now, we're watching out for the potential for tree damage, power lines to come on down, and travel problems, and just a whole host of issues north and west of the I-41 corridor. So the overall forecast hasn't really changed. Some of these numbers have on the forecast models as we get new data to come on in here. So, you know, it says 0 in Appleton, Oshkosh, Green Bay, very little. We don't really expect some significant icing here, but we have had reports. We are getting some light glaze on some trees, but the worst is going to be back here to the north and west. So travel would not really advise into central Wisconsin tonight, the Northwoods or the UP, and maybe even parts of Door County too. So from Green Bay east and south, we should be pretty good for the rest of tonight and tomorrow, but areas north and west, this is where we're going to have those big issues. So this is the big picture here tonight, and there's a warm front just to our south. It was well into the 60s and 70s in Illinois today, still quite warm there right now. We expect this blob of moisture out in Minnesota and Iowa to be filling in here, and notice how it's arcing into northern Wisconsin. And it's just going to keep filling in tonight and tomorrow morning. So, again, this is a worst case scenario as far as winter weather is concerned. Will Swamico hit bad? Yeah, I mean, you're north of Green Bay. You are going to be in a colder air mass. So just plan on getting a little bit of icing there. I would say the worst is going to be to your north, but the northern part of Brown County, definitely a little bit more affected than areas southeast of Green Bay. So that's the big picture. Storms coming our way. It's still 71 in Des Moines, Iowa, 45 in Chicago at O'Hare. They were much warmer earlier today, but we've got the battle zone between cold and warm. All right, so let's get into our timeline here. And this is where we are headed. And unfortunately, what you will notice on these various computer model runs that we have is that freezing line is going to be just north and west of Interstate 41 here. It could bleed into parts of Door, but really north and west, we see all that pink. That's likely going to be a lot of freezing rain tonight. That was 11 p.m. We started it. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We could hope that the temperature can rise a little bit and push the frozen precip back to the northwest of the Fox Valley a little bit tomorrow morning, but don't count on it. Again, I-41 is like the cutoff right now. So Watoma to just northwest of Appleton, the northwest side of Green Bay and north, probably the worst case scenario up here across the Northwoods, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. If we're lucky, again, we could have a little bit of rain versus freezing rain in Door County, but time will tell. One other thing to mention is that these winds will be continuing to be from the northeast and be quite breezy tonight, tomorrow night, and even into our Monday. And that northeast wind is going to keep reinforcing that cold air at the surface as that warm air comes in aloft. And so the whole situation is just going to keep repeating itself tonight and tomorrow. Jody asking about Wapaka County. I would say you are now in the ice storm warning, so plan on icing out your way tonight and tomorrow morning. Now, folks may be wondering about the snow, and we are all probably going to have some snow tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. So we will have the current situation, cold rain or freezing rain tonight, tomorrow morning, and even into tomorrow afternoon. There could be some thunder, but going into tomorrow evening, as the whole atmosphere starts to cool down a little bit, we're going to get into a situation where either the cold rain or the freezing rain or the sleet is eventually going to switch over to snow. And prior to the snow switchover, we could have a little bit of mixed precip even down into the Fox Valley, but then it's going to switch over to snow, and we could get a coating to an inch or two tomorrow night and in the wee hours of Monday morning. So we are all likely going to have some winter weather out of this before the end of tomorrow night. And right now, we are just looking at the snow potential here. It's not going to be a lot, but there's going to be enough snow to gum up the works probably for your Monday morning commute. Valerie asking about Ocano. You are in the ice storm warning. So please plan accordingly. There could be some decent icing up your way that will continue. It's already developing now. It's likely going to get a little bit worse tonight and tomorrow since you are just to the north of Green Bay. So snow coming in on the backside of all this stuff. Now, as far as moisture, total additional moisture, I started the clock at 6 p.m., so some of this may have already fallen. Well, let's just say there's still could be another half inch to over an inch, inch and a half of total liquid that could fall here. Some of this will be ice. Some of this will be cold rain. Let's see, Jody, first time ever someone answered my question on here. Okay, yeah, I mean, I try my best to multitask here tonight, and I'm grateful to answer your question. All right, so additional moisture coming our way, half inch to another inch, inch and a half. And again, some will be ice, some will be cold rain, but this is going to continue to add on up here. Now, okay. We're going to go back and look at radar before we wrap things up, but I do want to let you know, we keep looking ahead here. There's going to be another chance Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning for a snow mix to rain scenario. So dicey tonight, dicey tomorrow into tomorrow night. We're likely going to have more winter weather. This is likely going to come in after the polls close locally on Tuesday. Again, Tuesday, Wisconsin elections. We should be okay there. But this is looking like it's going to be another pretty potent little system. Initially, either snow or mix. Check it out. That's 7 p.m. Tuesday. This is Wednesday morning. I suspect we're going to have some slushy snow or wintry mix, or freezing rain even. And then it's all going to switch over to rain by midday Wednesday in most spots and going into Wednesday afternoon. And there could also be a few storms around there too. So another dynamic system coming our way. And this is just not what we want to have going into the start of April. Okay? So let me go and pop up I want to pop up the 7-day real quick, and then we're going to go back to our radar and do a little bit more analysis here. So this is where we are headed. I want to let you know here that we've got very chilly stuff tomorrow into Monday. Keep in mind the average high right now, I believe, is 46. So trending well below that for most of the week here. We'll be waiting to get back to 50s on Friday. But a couple of things here. If you are planning on going down to Milwaukee for the game, home opener, Brewers home opener on Monday, those early slick spots are going to be a concern. But by late morning and early afternoon, should be okay. Not too bad in Metro Milwaukee for Monday. The roof's going to be closed, obviously. And then we're looking at Election Day. It's going to be a chilly start if you are going to be out voting in person early, likely in the 20s. But by the afternoon, should be back up to around 40. And again, the snow coming in late. And stay focused on Friday, folks. If you want to have a spring-like day, we should be back into the low 50s away from the lakeshore. Okay, so let's go back to First Alert Viper Max real quick here and just do some additional analysis for you. I'm going to pop this up full screen, go back on over there. And Jason talking about big ice storm in the Memphis area in the 90s. Yeah, you know what? When I used to work down in Mississippi, and the Delta of Mississippi got hammered with one of those ice storms too that just was crippling for weeks on end. And ice is the absolute worst. And I haven't really dealt with a lot of icing in my career. Even though I've worked in the Dakotas, I've worked in North and South Dakota, I've worked here in Green Bay, of course. But typically, these big ice storms are very rare. And Fortunately, we don't get them often, and just in my career, I really haven't had to deal with a lot of them, especially like this with nearly half of our viewing area under an ice storm warning right now. So this is where we are right now. We've got, let me go and pop up our, I'm going to pop this map up. So this is our radar First Alert Viper Max with the temperatures overlaid on top of it. And, this is just not a good situation with this moisture coming back in and flowing over this really cold air mass. And also keep in mind, the Northwoods it's higher in elevation, and, it's a little colder up there, so the precip is easier can touch the ground a little bit faster than even down in the Fox Valley. It's subtle, but a couple hundred feet make a difference. But right now it is 30, 31, 32 up north, and 33, 34, 36 from Green Bay south. And just a few degrees here is going to make the difference here. Diane asking about crivets. You will have ice tonight and tomorrow, and we'll all have some snow tomorrow night. All right, so let's go back to our power outage map here and see if anything has changed. Well, the number has come down to 500 customers in Menominee County, Michigan. And again, please, if you are up here north and west, make sure you have your devices charged and fuel for your generator in case you need it, and just be extra safe here because this is only going to get worse before it gets better here tonight. It is 8:46, and we're just watching the moisture come back into northeastern Wisconsin again. So again, from I-41 north and west, this is where we really expect. Let's see, we'll draw this right here. I would say this area is prone to the most icing tonight, and then the bullseye of the more significant icing is likely going to be in this circle I just drew in the center right there, Anago, Lakewood, north and west of Shawano, where there could be a 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice or more before the end of this event. And this is just going to fill on in tonight and tomorrow morning. And we just have to ride it out. So this is just the beginning, folks, and it's only going to devolve before it improves, before this thing gets out of here tomorrow night. So going back to the region, you can see the activity that is still going to be coming our way. So that's what we got for you here tonight, friends, and I just want to make sure that you stay safe and stay warm, and make sure your devices are charged. Don't be venturing out on those roads. And if we do get a bunch of power outages and trees coming down, travel could be hard or impossible until we get traction or until we can get some of that ice to start melting. And I should note that we are going to be down into the 20s tomorrow night on the backside of this system, so it's all going to freeze, and we'll have that snow on top of any ice or cold rain after the atmosphere cools down a little bit. So we're all going to have snow or ice or some travel difficulty before this event is done. It's just tonight and for most of tomorrow, the hardest hit areas will be west and northwest of Interstate 41, and more of a cold rain to the southeast. And then tomorrow night we'll have that switch over to some snow. So just be prepared. We're in the long haul here, folks, tonight, and I don't expect too many changes in regards to how this is coming together. But we are getting some new model data in right now, and we'll of course have the very latest on the radar trends coming up at 10 o'clock, I hope, after the hockey game. That is what's on WBAY tonight. But I wanted to get on here on our live stream and give you the very latest tonight, just so you are extra prepared going forward. So that's what I got for you tonight. Be safe, stay warm, and we'll see you on TV at 10 o'clock tonight or whenever the hockey game is done.